everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion plays Kerbal Space Program. Last episode, it seems like about once every 3 episodes we basically just end up with a disaster. A disaster of an episode. Of course you want to leave now, Tomo. See ya. I think, this one, then, is primed to be great. I kind of want to decline these. I know it's gonna axe our reputation a little bit, but it'll also give us the chance for more missions. So, like, I never want to do a focused observational study of any kind. You know what? Screw the reputation. This one, if we don't decline it, we're going to fail it, and we're going to lose more money and reputation anyway in 22 minutes, apparently. So get that out of here. Hopefully this will mean that after our next flight, we'll get some more missions. But for now, we are still trying to test this hydraulic detachment manifold on an escape trajectory out of Kerbin. So we know what escape trajectory means. We also have made some progress recently towards this, although our last attempt was not very good. This is the one that managed to at least get to an escape trajectory, I think. What are these, though? Are these radial decouplers, or are these hydraulic manifold detachments, or whatever the heck they're called? Either way, we're going to start a new one here, which we probably don't need to do. Is this... This is a crew pod. That's cool. Is it a satellite? Like, are you supposed to eject it? It carries no crew. It does require electricity and will cease to function if power runs out. Built-in battery should keep it going for 10 minutes. Okay, so we can launch this and have an unmanned craft, but where's the fun in that for now? We don't have any kind of... Oh, we do have some rechargeable batteries, okay. But, you know, honestly, I don't really want to add electricity to the mix just yet. It seems like the kind of thing I should probably wait on, if I'm being honest. So we've learned a little bit. You're forgetting a lot here. Heat shield, of course, is important. Now that we have no part limit, or a part limit that is not prohibitive, we've got less things to worry about. But one thing that we learned is having a final stage that has extra fuel tanks is pretty valuable for us here. So this gives us our final phase with a single engine, which allows us to travel quite a great distance. We do want to test these hydraulic detachment manifolds. So definitely those were radial decouplers on the last one. We have to test these on an escape trajectory, so it's going to take us a long time to get up to the point where these would actually be worth testing. So I think we'll just leave this as our final phase. And one of the comments that has come up an awful lot here is, NL, please, for the love of God, stop using solid fuel boosters. A lot of people have disagreed with that, if I'm being honest with you. There are some people that go into the comments and they say solid fuel boosters are not worth using. A lot of people have come in and been like, hey, they're giving you good advice, but ignore that single piece of it, because solid fuel boosters actually have their place. For now, let's try to not use solid fuel boosters and just see how it works, you know. It's the spice of life. Variety. I don't know why I'm having there we go. So much trouble attaching these. And we went with a bilaterally symmetrical rocket earlier, and it didn't work as well, but I will be the first to admit that that's probably operator error. I understand that the more engines you place on these, the heavier the thing gets in general. And that can create some problems. But I will also suggest that for now, I think we were really close to making the last one work. So I kind of want to try that again. And, you know, we need thrust, probably less thrust in the second phase than we need in the first phase, because we're exiting when gravity's the strongest and the atmosphere is the thickest. But I think I'm on to something here. And we'll just, like, make our previous rocket design, but, you know, better, basically. Is my game plan, at least. I know we don't need to place these, like, individually, but... So I don't know if this is enough thrust. It's a big old rocket, but I figure we'll give this a try and see how it works right off the bat. So this is, you know, quite the tower of power right here. Certainly, we've got aerodynamic nose cones. I don't, you know, we could throw some science onto this bad boy. considering how high up we're going. But where would we put the science? What if you put it under the heat shield? Hear me out here. Science. Move. Wait. Try this. Is Lego all over again. Science, heat shield, decoupler. That way the science pod will, like, live to see another day. It will make this thing heavier. You know, for every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction here. But throw some basic fins on this bad boy. Preferably on this axis. As close to the back as possible. And then if we can do it, why not on the same axis but one extra level up? Okay, I'm not sure, but this is going to be Escape Velocity Rocket Mark 1. And I'm going to start labeling these more properly because we're actually reusing the designs on occasion. Not always, but on occasion. So this is going to be, we're using this rocket to try to reach escape trajectory. Does that say trajectory? Of course it does. Escape trajectory. Test the manifold decouplers. And then return, ideally. And this is like July. Today's like July 8th? July 7th? I think today's July 7th. There you go. And then you put your name there in case anyone tries to steal it from you. No, we're going to launch this. I don't think this is a proprietary design necessary. Worrying about intellectual property. Oh, who would have thought of putting 3 big fuel containers on a rocket here? So SAS on. We got no pilot on board. Revert flight to vehicle assembly. Again, I think our pilot's taking a rest. No, we don't roll like that. Our pilot flies the plane, which is not a plane, unless things go terribly wrong. Save. We can stage it right here. So we know these are going to fire. Then we want these and these to fire. Then we want these and these to fire. Although this manifold. And then this engine fires. So you don't want to pop this, if possible, until the very end. Because we need to test it, of course. Otherwise, these things will decouple, and that's going to be a nightmare, I think. But anyway, save, launch. This is mostly for testing purposes. I'm testing a couple of things. Trilaterally symmetrical rocket. People make fun of me for saying trilaterally symmetrical so much, but I stand by it. And then finally, no launch stabilizers on this either. You know what? Revert flight, vehicle assembly. Let's put some launch stabilizers on this thing. Because I like to. It makes your rocket look way cooler. And make sure these pop at the same time the first engines go. Save it up. Let's go. Okay. We're testing solid fuel engines being removed in favor of liquid fuel engines, and we're testing trilateral symmetry and like a lot of fuel. Wow, it's too heavy to even get off the ground. Eject. He's done it. Well, I think what we're going to do is revert that flight back to vehicle assembly. So it doesn't have nearly enough thrust to get off the ground. So how are we going to solve this problem here? Well, less fuel, more engines in stage 1 seems relatively sensible. Even though engines are heavy, I understand. We need more thrust at the start, though. So that was a bit of a botched situation there. So let's take stage 3 off. And I still think this stage is probably fine. Let's go like this. Like this. I know I recognize it looks like I'm building exactly the same thing right now. And that's because I am. Yeah, like I don't know what I'm doing now. We can't have 2 train wreck episodes in a row. But we need more thrust off the get-go. We have a considerable problem here. These engines will light each other on fire because they're not placed properly. And then you're gonna put actually like 6 engines under here? I don't know about this one, dude. I mean, we all know that it looks badass. But I have a feeling this thing's gonna swivel like no other. But you know what? Again, this is all in the spirit of science and experimentation and testing. So as long as the launch or the aerodynamic cone is not connected, should be relatively okay here. So you're gonna fire these engines and these engines, please. And then all the other staging should be the same. Yeah, okay. Again, I don't think this is gonna work, but it could. Pretty much Kerbal Space Program in a nutshell. Whoa, this one's taking off, dude. Okay, so we probably would like it to have less of like a bell-bottom sort of swing going on there. And we didn't put a fin at the back this time. So again, this is still sort of just a test. But it's holding relatively steady, which is very surprising to me. It does not love the gravity turn. Yeah, it doesn't love the gravity turn at all. But these fuel engines, or these engines are done in a second anyway. And then we light them on fire, dispose of the evidence. Smart move. Get on this relative 90-degree angle. You know what? Cut the throttle a little bit. That's the opposite of the direction you want to go. We must have rolled more than I thought in transit there. Cut the throttle some more. Look at the map. Apoapsis 50,000. So we got to burn more, obviously. We want to be on that 45-degree angle, which is right there. Pivot like this. Cut the throttle. Apoapsis is 79,000. So we're going to full throttle again. Maybe we should be burning on the prograde marker. Again, that's still something I'm wrapping my head around. I'll tell you with 100% certainty, there's no way we're reaching an escape trajectory without popping these. So we might as well just test it and then see how it goes. You know what? We could run some science here at least. 22 science is worth the cost of sending this rocket up, I think. And we have an apoapsis of 129,000 meters, which I think is totally fine. So we're going to... people said you could warp to apoapsis. I don't know if that's actually true. But let's get ourselves aligned properly here, so... You want to be on the horizon, roughly. And we've rotated ourselves 180 degrees on a roll relative to where we mostly like to be. But this rocket handled itself. Of course, the first phase of the ascent was not particularly stellar, but that's fine. 129,000 is where we're going to stop. So we're going to go on speed 5 for like a second here. And this has been like 5 seconds, but I digress. Okay. And we're still climbing pretty quickly here. So it's going to be full throttle, and then we are going to have to eject this stage. Which I'm now realizing we want to do like that. But anyway, let's hit full throttle. Again, we don't have much fuel. Orbit should be no problem. Not on phase 2, but on phase 3. Escape trajectory and then returning might be impossible. And remember, we should get a lot of fuel efficiency out of this one. Maybe not as much as I had originally thought. So we're just going to try to hit escape trajectory. We might as well give it a shot, is my thinking. We've learned what we need to do in the future. Stabilize that first phase, without a doubt. And here comes orbit. Not as quickly as I would have liked, but it's fine. Continue burning along the prograde marker until escape trajectory is reached, and then burn along the retrograde. Apparently you burn along the retrograde at apoapsis, not at periapsis. So that's, my bad. We have almost no fuel left. And we can't even click on our decouplers. So, that's a problem. Hey, it's the sun. I really, really doubt we're going to be able to get back to the surface. But there is no apoapsis now that I think about it, because we're exiting the sphere of influence. So, we should go back, burn along the retrograde marker. And if we can get back, at least we'll get a lot of science out of it. If we can't get back, we'll just revert the flight. And I think we'll add maybe more engines and more fuel here. Might be a rookie mistake, but I mean, this worked, more or less. Yeah, so at least we're in orbit, but we're never going to return to Kerbin. So we're going to revert the flight back to the vehicle assembly. Still a pretty good attempt, I think. Pop these out of here. And you know what? I mean, might seem like a little bit of overkill, but what if we just add another phase to the very start of this? What we could just do is duplicate this. And, I mean, if we're going to duplicate it, we might as well triplicate it, right? Trilaterally. Try to keep it roughly as symmetrical as possible. And then... Now! I like to keep a little bit of silliness in these Kerbal videos. Cancel that. I like to keep a little bit of silliness in these Kerbal episodes and try these ridiculous plans that, if we're being honest, probably don't have much of a chance of working. But if they work, we will have done it our way, which I think is part and parcel with the spirit of the series here. Yeah. Yeah, this is how you do it. This is how they did it on the original Apollo 11 flight as well, if I remember correctly from all the history books I read all the time. So this is Escape Rocket Velocity Mark 1, but this is, how many engines we got on this? We got 12 engines, 12 engine phase 1. It should definitely take off. Did I ever put the stabilizers back on? I didn't. Whatever. Let's go. Wait, we got no stabilizers. Yeah, it's still staged properly except for this section. Yo, it's so solid. It's the stablest rocket we've ever launched. A little expensive. And we're traveling like too quickly. I'm worried that the atmosphere, you know, pretty much everywhere is gonna be hot. So we're about to start phase 2. Turn is like almost decent. Tilting a little too much here. Take a look at the map briefly. Apoapsis is still climbing. Do want to be like there. Okay, Apoapsis probably high enough. Let's cap it there. It's okay to be mad that this sort of worked. I just want you to know that. I'm a little mad that it seemed to sort of work. We've got a lot of fuel left, but I still think it's not quite enough to enter our, or to start our next phase. We're not quite aligned with the prograde marker as well, because we traveled at the wrong angle for a little while. We might as well try to meet the prograde marker where it's going to be. Seems like it'll be like here. Better to save fuel by burning roughly along at least one of the axes of the prograde marker, I'm guessing. Okay, there we go. Now, apoapsis is going to be at 139,000. Again, we might as well do some science up here just in case we manage to make it back. We really can't afford to not revert flights that fail right now, though. So flights that fail would be a great name for the company that I'm running in this game right now, by the way. So we're basically going to wait for the prograde marker to get aligned with where we are. And it's almost there. It should align with where we are at apoapsis, I think. So we're about 10 degrees off of the trajectory we should have had ideally, which is going to be a problem from a fuel efficiency standpoint, but apart from that, I don't think it's necessarily a huge deal. Just going to try to get even more parallel to the horizon. It's not like we're going to mess it up and, not hit orbit. Clearly, we've already got that under control here. Remember when we couldn't even hit orbit? That was like a strange era for us. So now we're stretching this out. Again, we do want to hit the escape trajectory while having fuel left in the engines because we want to decouple or test the decoupler on the escape trajectory. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this time either. So you might be saying, well, just put more fuel or put like another stage that you can have these things decouple at. And, straight up, you might be right that that's a good idea. I'm open to experimentation at this point. We did almost hit orbit like this, though. Did you not decouple? There we go. So if we get 22 science out of this, I'm still going to consider it a success and try to go back. Even if it is going to cost us a lot of our available money. So we should be burning along the prograde marker, which we are. Our escape trajectory is not quite here yet. But this thing, it stretches out real quick. We've hit it. We've maintained about a quarter of our fuel. No, you see, I'm trying to click on the decouplers that are already gone. Okay, so we'll just immediately burn along the retrograde marker and hope for the best. Again, I don't think we're going to make it back, but we did get closer this time. We saved about half a tank of fuel by quadrupling the cost of our rocket. So clearly, like, this is an ultimate there's got to be a better way sort of situation, but... let's burn along this retrograde marker. We can make it back. Bring him home. I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it. Let's go. We're going to make it. Now the only problem, of course, is not dying in the process. So, you eject. Heat shield on the bottom. Hey, this is progress, dude. And we're, we got a long way to go, so just speed it up here. Coming back down now. Let's try to keep yourself roughly aligned. All we need to do is land this, and hey, 22 science. You know what? We didn't take a crew report, but that's fine. Maybe we'll land in a different biome and we can take a crew report when we land. Okay, so we're coming in. Coming in at an angle like this. So be ready here. Here it comes. I think that's the way we want to set this up, but I'm admittedly not completely sure. No problems, you just introduce a little wobble. As long as you have a wobble, nothing could possibly harm you. Oh, Jesus! Oh, that was scary, dude. I don't know. You're gonna land. I don't think we want to recover the flight, though. I think we want to revert it. Because we're not gonna get the science out of it. Yeah, that's fine. But you know what? Good test flight. Revert the vehicle assembly. We got this. We got this. You know, if one of these managed to get us off the ground, imagine what, like, another 3 of these could conceivably do for us. The problem is they do need to be, like, symmetrical. We've created a fidget spinner, is what we've done here. Basically, I've become emboldened because our last one sort of worked. I'm not necessarily expecting this one to do the same. But this is a 24 engine phase 1, is that correct? Let's try it. Looks like the Razor logo and nothing else. The thrust is too much. This is not okay. We are gonna explode as soon as we hit choppy air, I think. Oh, the frames. The frames. It's not loving the frame rate. This is on speed 1 as well, so... I'm not doing any sort of gravity turn. Because I don't think this... It strikes me as being a little unwieldy, let's put it that way. It sort of worked. Cut the throttle. You're going 1,300 meters a second. Your apoapsis is actually already completely fine. You are slowing down because we're going through the atmosphere right now, but now your apoapsis should stay somewhat steady at around 155,000. Let's get ourselves aligned with the prograde marker. This strikes me as a terrible way to do business, but I'm so happy we've done it. We know our science is unlikely to survive re-entry, so I'm a little disappointed about that, but we could build, like, transmitting functions, I suppose. We have a lot more fuel left than we normally do. Don't hate me because I'm an accidental genius, okay? Will you just stay on the prograde marker, then? You totally will. No, just stability assist for now. So, I don't know if that's because our pilot is, like, high level or whatever, but we can just have him burn along the retrograde during re-entry. That's easier for me to handle. Okay, so again, we're going until we hit 155,000, roughly. We might as well try the science. Maybe we should go for transmitting next, just to give us a chance to actually make it, to actually make it through, re-entry. 155,000 is where we want to be. But I guess we're already there. No, go to 155. Remember, we're just waiting. The prograde marker is going to approach us a lot more slowly because of the fact that our vector was basically straight up and down. So it's going to be easy to miss it here. It's starting to work towards us. There we go. Now get the Science Junior off the screen. Get this on the screen, because this could be a big deal for us. It's 155 on the nose, so we got to get ready. Starting now. So I don't know how, again, we might not have quite enough fuel. We probably burned a little too much on approach. But again, if we could just recover the science and get back to Kerbin, that would be a start. Yeah, we're not going to have enough. I can tell you that right now. Burn along the prograde marker, please. See if that accentuates our ability to get to orbit here. It's a strange way to phrase that. It had to be escape trajectory, didn't it? Couldn't have just been an orbital trajectory, at which point we would have passed this test 90 times in a row. It's always, let me rephrase it. It's never, hey, test this thing. It's always, hey, test this thing. Also, achieve a scientific breakthrough that you've never managed before in your entire life up to this point. So, I mean, orbit's about to happen. We almost had enough fuel. I think I'm just gonna add, like, an unnecessary extra phase that allows us to, use the decouplers later, basically. And that actually didn't save us that much fuel in the end. I wonder if it's due to the extremely botched gravity turn. So we, again, might be able to return. We might as well try re-entry again, but I'll give you guys another launch over the course of this episode. Because I don't think that this one achieved what we wanted. At least we're kind of using the nav ball and the SAS properly. So we've now repositioned along the retrograde very smoothly. That's really pulling in our orbit here, but one day we'll get Valentina back. We're flying a lot better than we used to. I think you gotta give me that. Alright, so I gotta learn some re-entry tips because I feel like I should make re-entry more gentle. But I don't know how you make it more gentle. You don't want to come in at a deeper angle, I assume. You want to come in at a shallower angle. Which I think we more or less achieved. But I don't know. Speed me up, Buttercup baby. So we're about to come back in. This is where things become mildly dicey. Maybe we should align ourselves. There is no prograde marker. Oh, there is? Yeah. We should align ourselves along the retrograde, the opposite of the direction we're traveling, and as a result, the heat shield will take most of the brunt of this, I think. Although, I don't know about that. I'm mostly just... It's kind of wishful thinking to some extent. I can't believe our fidget spinner rocket ever got off the ground in the first place, though, so... I'm jazzed about that. It's going to start heating up any second now. Okay. Get ready, because this could be wrong. Well, the science module doesn't love it. It's gonna blow. It was close to not blowing, though. Yeah, so again, okay, we revert flight. We're gonna give this one more try, because we actually have all the tools we could possibly ever need to succeed. Just gonna lower those. And then we're gonna put another hydraulic detachment manifold up here. On the... You gotta keep it roughly symmetrical here. And then I don't even know. I think we'll just take, like, a structural fuselage with some aerial nose cones on it. Now, I'm not giving this high apple pie in the sky hopes here, but where are our other... Where are these in the staging? At the bottom. Not correct. These go at the top with this decoupler. Yeah. Okay. Save it up. Launch it again. You might, as you might expect, I'm a little bit concerned about this, but I've got the high apple pie in the sky hopes as always. It is sort of rustling a little bit at the start here. Like we're already on not the right angle, but hey, let's do it. It doesn't seem as stable as it was last time. We did move like millions and millions of pounds of machinery around in the process here. So I worry about these exploding right at the start here. So this is the gravity turn to end all gravity turns. Yeah, don't do that. SAS. You might as well just accelerate along the prograde marker, but anyway. For now. Keep yourself as close to steady on that as you conceivably can. Although I guess once you start to deviate from it at all, you're just going to continue to deviate. But you're almost doing the correct direction of the gravity turn, so I'm inclined to let you go. You're only like 90 degrees off, which as far as I'm concerned is 3/4 correct. So we probably don't need to throttle up as much as we have here. No, you don't say. This is where things are going to get hot and possibly explode. Apoapsis already high. Let's throttle way down. Okay. Apoapsis is at 160,000. I think that's fine. Turn throttle off completely. And we can align ourselves along. Yeah, this will do it. Along the prograde marker. Again, kind of botched it. Stability assist, please. Kind of botched it. Well, I guess we could just actually put ourselves on the prograde marker. Try to do science again. I know this is not going to succeed. Or we're not going to be able to get it on re-entry anyway. And then just wait until we hit Apoapsis, which is like 160,000 here. So we can speed up like crazy. Why are you not aligned with the prograde marker? That's what I got to ask you right now. It doesn't align with the prograde marker unless it's in real time. I don't respect that. And we're just waiting until the prograde marker hits about the horizon line. And then I think, you know, it's been a 37-minute episode here. I'll admit, it's gone to the point of absurdity to some extent, but it's, I think we've got the secret to actually succeeding here. Now, is the mission going to cost us more money than we'll gain? Oh, I mean, this rocket might be at this point like 100,000 Kerbal credits. But, you know, stage 1 is doing it. Stage 2 maybe is doing it cheap. 161 is where we want to be here, so we're basically almost there. Take me off of the prograde marker, please, and onto stability assist. And then we're going to let it burn. Caught something on the Usher tour. You had to let it burn. Looks to me like this vector is not extending as much as I would like it to. What if we close the doors? Do you think this thing will survive if we close the doors? Maybe that's the problem. Going through, you know, re-entry with a freaking screen door open or something like that. Maybe we should still just burn along the prograde as well. Not sure how much it helps, but as they said in Prometheus, big things have small beginnings. So phase 1 ejecting here is fine as long as we recognize that our final phase will not eject. Until later. Not quite at orbit, but very close. Eject. Continue accelerating along this, and we're going to do this until we hit the escape trajectory. Getting into orbit is no problem now. And preferably, like, the least fuel used possible here would be good. I notice we're using a lot more fuel than we normally use here, but any second now. Get the contract up. Any second now. Any second now. Get ready. For real? It took that much. Oh my god. Let's decouple, boys. What? This doesn't count? Does it have to be in staging? If it has to be in staging, I'll tell you what, let's do it. What did that just decouple? It should be this, right? Or did I just decouple this? No. You gotta admit, it looks pretty sweet. Apparently that doesn't count as testing it, though. So we'll just come back to Earth in a million pieces. Well, thanks for watching. I think we got some good stuff going on there. Hitting escape trajectory is no problem at this point. Completing the test might be, but for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's a little ridiculous, but it's getting the job done, sort of. For now, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, thanks for your support, and I'll see you next time.